la 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 la
Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and welcome to our Congregation Sherith Israel Shabbat services outside of our beautiful building and inside of our own warm, cozy, in my case, very messy homes. I want to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves to other people they might know on this call, just as if we were sitting together in our sanctuary. So Gordon, if you would help us get into breakout rooms, we'll have a chance to say hello, introduce ourselves, and say something about something beautiful that happened this week.
For those of you who have just joined us, you're invited to join a breakout room that should be in your prompts. And otherwise, you can just hang here for a few minutes and the crowd will come back to you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Shabbat Shalom.
Good. I wasn't sure where I was because it hadn't said breakout room. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
You're in purgatory right now.
Well, at least I know I can get out whenever I want, so that's not too bad. How is everyone doing?
Great.
Doing well.
All right, good to know. There you go. It's nice to see everybody. People coming on. Whoa, who's out there? Hello.
Hi, Lisa. How are you?
All right, as we come back, there may be a bit of chatter, but please mute yourself as we're about to continue the program.
All righty.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Welcome. Hello, Abby.
Hello, have we all returned?
We're close.
Yes, we have.
We're returning.
All right, I believe Rabbi Graf is actually going to introduce our candlelighters.
Oh, all right.
Listening to our beautiful music, we're thinking about being back together in our sanctuary together, being able to hear all of this resonating in the dome. Just like in real life, as we were leaving our breakout rooms, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat because someone was just about to tell us something exciting, and then we ended up back all together. So we'll have to find each other and continue these wonderful conversations. But for a little while, we have this privilege of all being sort of together yet separate as we continue to meet new people in our community and share some wonderful experiences from out in the world at this strange time. So Shabbat Shalom to everybody. I would like to invite some very special people who are celebrating a beautiful simcha on, I believe it's this very day, the 9th anniversary, wedding anniversary, but much longer time of building a life together and creating a home and a family together. Rich Weissman and J.D. Horn, who have been members for, I think, about 3 years. I'll let them tell us. But they live down south and are rarely here in San Francisco with us. We are their Northern California community, let's say, and always happy to have you when you're here, and delighted that we can all be together by Zoom. It's one of the silver linings of this experience. So Rich and JD, I'm not seeing you this minute, but I saw you. Oh, there you are. Great. Since most people, many people don't know you guys, since you don't live here, would you introduce yourselves a little bit and tell us something very special and important about these candlesticks that hold such a beautiful place in your home? And mazel tov to you guys.
Sure. These candlesticks, JD, who was brought up Pentecostal from Eastern Tennessee and then left when he was 17 and headed up to Chicago and then California, never to look back, and had been for many years interested in Judaism, studied Judaism in a variety of ways. And when I met him, he was quite serious about converting, and then went through the conversion process. That was before we married. And the first thing he bought for himself, he was on a trip to LA, he found in a shop these beautiful candlesticks and bought them for himself as his first Jewish, important Shabbat candlesticks. And so they've been the ones that we light all the time because they have great meaning, as he's now part of our community and part of the Jewish people. So those are the candlesticks.
Beautiful.
Many more happy, healthy, wonderful years of building your life and your family together. Will you, I see anniversary flowers, I think, and maybe anniversary chocolate right there. And do you also have matches nearby? Will you light your candle? Great, as we invite everyone to light along with you and to share in this blessing for the welcoming of light into Shabbat.
Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlikeh Shel Shabbat.
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Shalom.
Thank you so much, JD and Rich, for leading us in that blessing and for sharing with us the beautiful story of your candlesticks. Pardon me. So we continue now with our service. We begin to sing together in praise of Shabbat with Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kahala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kahala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קהלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We continue singing in praise of Shabbat, getting into the Shabbat spirit, welcoming it into our midst and thinking about what it's going to mean to take a little rest for a day. We think about all of this as we sing Tov Lahodot. It is good to praise Shabbat, and it is good to praise God.
טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך העליון. 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 להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך העליון. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך העליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך ארנן, מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך העליון. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך העליון. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך העליון. טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך העליון.
We now rise as able and join together in the Barchu. Now we pause for a moment to listen closely to ourselves, to the sounds around us, to the things that God wishes to tell us tonight as we say the Shema together.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
We continue with our Song of Freedom, the song that we once sang standing on the shores of the Sea of Reeds, the song that we continue to say to remember all of the freedoms that we still savor today, the freedom to choose, the freedom to visit with one another, at least in this way, the freedom to look forward to a future where we can all be together in person. We think of all these things as we sing Mi Chamocha together.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh norat tehilot osef ele malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam zeh Eli anu ve'ameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la
Now I invite us all to take a moment to look up, to see the ceiling that is above you, that is sheltering you right now, and appreciate the great gift that we all have of having the sukkah of shalom, the shelter of peace above our heads, which we commemorate when we sing Hashkivenu. Please join us.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
Now I invite you to rise as able and to join us for our standing prayer, the center point of our service, the Amidah, beginning with Adonai Safatai Tiftach. God, please open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים,
ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We're now going to continue with the rest of the Amidah silently, praying the words of the prayer book or the words of our own hearts. And while we do that, we'll listen to some beautiful music from Jonathan and come back together on page 60 for Shalom Rav.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. As I scroll through the pictures of all of you here, I just have this huge amount of joy, this same feeling that I feel when I stand up on the bima and look out, and feel like I've had a chance to talk with so many of you during the week. So I want to say Shabbat Shalom. And David, did you want to lead us in song for some words of Torah? Nope, you're muted.
Why don't you go ahead?
There we go.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I wanted to share a little bit of Torah, which is hard for me into the computer, but easy for me as I see your faces and I see that we are all together and we're all continuing to live our lives in a slightly abbreviated way out in the world, but coming together to mark this time every week. We begin this week with a new book in the Torah, with the book of Bamidbar, and the Torah portion also called Bamidbar. And it's the book this year which takes us from the story of the pandemic into the story of the wandering to a new identity. From the story of tzara'at, or physical ailment, emotional ailment in Leviticus, into this story Bamidbar that takes place in maybe the most important place that we find ourselves in in the Torah, because of course at the end of the Torah we just see the land of Israel, but we don't arrive there. So Bamidbar is where we spend our time, a lot of our time in our lives. In English, this is translated as Numbers. It's the book of Numbers, which is a mistranslation from the word Bamidbar, which means in the desert, in the wandering place. It's called Numbers in English because at the very beginning we take a census, and it's a long accounting of everybody in every family that has come out of slavery and is going to create an identity with us in the desert. But in the Hebrew of Bamidbar, we have a reminder that it is in the desert, in the place where things are hot and dusty and not exactly clear, that we learn who we are. And so we find ourselves on this Shabbat and at this time in the world in the desert. This Torah portion is about counting each person and each family. It's about the uniqueness of each person's experience and the reminder that we are the sum total of individuals. There's a long, long list of each of the tribes and each of the names and each of the children and their descendants that come from there. And as an aside, I'm always reminded as we read in these weeks where we talk about the names of the tribes that I really wanted to name our son Zach Zebulun. John told me in the hospital, if you name him Zebulun, you're going to be in big trouble. Don't do that. So we ended up with a Zach. I got my Z, but as we read about the tribe of Zvulun, I always wish just a teeny tiny bit that we had a Zvu, which is a cooler name even than Zach. We count the many people that have come from slavery into our community in this week. As we do continue to count the Omer, we count the deaths that have been recorded during this pandemic, and we count the lives, our own lives, as these days go on, and we count the number of days that we find ourselves staying at home. In this week's Torah portion, we are asked, who do we have with us? And who is here at this point in the story? So here we stand, like our ancestors did, individuals surrounded by others, by family, by clan, by community, by city in concentric circles, as we struggle to locate ourselves, each of us individually as part of a collective. What does it mean to be tiny, to be individual, and to be big, to be part of something really big with a shared identity? We ask this as we look at information on COVID. We look at these charts that are impacting many and all of us one by one. John said to me the other day something that was reiterated as I bumped into Daniel and Wendy Parker, who I know are on the Zoom service with us tonight. When I bumped into them on the street, just fortunately the other night, we all were so surprised to see each other and kind of squinting, looking around the masks to make sure we had the right people. We pulled them down just far enough to be able to say hello and acknowledge that we were, in fact, friends with masks on. And we talked about how hard it is for Americans, really, to be in this situation because we are a culture, a society of socializing. We are a culture of people who like to talk to others all day long. We talk to the barista, we talk to the dry cleaner, we talk to the lady walking the cute dog on the street. And if you're a person who lived in New York like I did, you talk to the people at the next table who ordered a really yummy looking dessert. We talk to people around us and we engage with others. And one of the hardest things about this is not only a sense of isolation that we all feel, some of us more than others, but a sense of distance just from the people around us, from the crowd, from the society, from the people who live near us. There was an interesting interview that came out this week on KQED titled, "We All Miss Our Friends, but What About Strangers?" And I think it speaks very much to the fact that we are feeling very isolated, yet surrounded by people. I was thinking of this interview when I read an article in the New York Times called "What Single People Are Starting to Realize," all about dating during the pandemic. And as much as that seems a little bit like not on the minds of so many people. In all the conversations that I've had in these last weeks, I realize it is very much on the minds of the people among us who are single. Just because there is a pandemic that is stopping regular life, people, and maybe because of it, people are searching for connection, for more and more connection, and normal life goes on still, even in an abnormal setting with masks on. People are still looking for companionship, for friendship, for connection. The article in the New York Times reports that video speed dating has seen attendance double in the first week of social distancing. Messaging on Hinge, it reports, surged 30%. And since March, the number of OkCupid users who have been on a video date has quadrupled. So dating in the time of pandemic is not dead. In fact, a relationship expert and psychologist explained that people have found love through war, plague, and famine, even if it feels hard to remember that right now. So reality reflects this Torah portion, which reminds us that we are individuals surrounded by many other individuals who we need to meet. How do we find them? How do we understand ourselves and who we are? By encountering others. The article about dating in the New York Times ended with this explanation, which made me feel rather hopeful. In dating these days, people are using words early on like, I wish, I miss, I'm scared, much earlier than they would have dared pre-pandemic. We're becoming better at listening, reading eyes, and dreaming up imaginative ways to connect, the author explained. So maybe that will help us in this post-pandemic time to remember how we encounter each other one person at a time. We are so aware of our need to be with other humans. As Bamidbar teaches, first we have to see them and be aware of ourselves, who we are. In Man's Search for Meaning, a beautiful book written by Viktor Frankl, right after the Holocaust, he writes of an experience that he had after he was liberated from the death camps at the very end of the Holocaust. And he describes walking out of the camp and into a field, a free man for the first time in many years. He wrote this: larks rose to the sky and I could hear their joyous song. There was no one to be seen for miles around. There was nothing but the wide earth and sky and the lark's jubilation and the freedom of space. I stopped, looked around and up to the sky, and then I went down on my knees. At that moment, there was very little I knew of myself or of the world. I had but one sentence in mind, always the same. I called to God from my narrow prison, and God answered me in the freedom of space. How long I knelt there and repeated this sentence, he wrote, memory can no longer recall, but I know that on that day, in that hour, my new life started. Step for step, I progressed until I again became a human being. This time of pandemic, this time of reading Bamidbar in our Torah cycle, teaches us the power of counting and this sacred lesson. First, to count yourself, to know your own value, and then to look around and count yourself among others. Because it is by being individuals surrounded by community, by strangers who become people who share in our experience, that we form a sacred community as our ancestors did, learning our own worth and creating the value of a new society. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for those words of Torah. Yasher koach. Well, when we come together, even virtually, even across these vast distances, we have the opportunity to celebrate one another's joys and to comfort one another in times of sorrow. And of course, to wish healing for all those who are in need of healing in our lives, healing of mind and body and spirit. We think particularly this evening of Dr. Elliot Eisenberg and William Kurian. And of course, we also think of all those whom you will name when we sing our song of healing, Misha Berach, in just a moment. There will be a pause partway through, and I invite you in your own homes to name whomever it is that you are particularly thinking of for healing this evening. So please join us in Misha Berach.
Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. מי שברך אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us
When we come together, we also have the privilege to share simchas, smachot, happy occasions, and even at crazy moments when things feel heavy, we remember the great gift of life and the opportunities for little tiny joys and sometimes huge joys as we look around our beautiful world. We join with Cantor Frommer and Shachiana as we thank God for giving us life and sustaining us and enabling us to be together and to be searching for new answers and a new world to live in.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehecheyanu v'kiyemanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Our thoughts turn to those who gave us life and sustained us in our lives with their love and their values. And we share their names tonight as we think of them and honor their legacies. I do not have the Siddur on my screen, so Cantor Frommer, I'm going to ask you to share the Kaddish after we read these names. In this week, if you are observing Shiva or Shloshim, the first 7 or 30 days of mourning, please stand. For Rika Abir, this has been a very difficult week as she learned of the loss of her mother, Henrietta Michal Abir, and we send you love and support from your new community during this time. For Shloshim, we remember Larry Doan, Riva Fagan, Karen Richardson, and Sydney Shear, and others whom you think of in your own lives and remember now. The perpetual memorials in our congregation are Sidney Black, Charles Einbund, Mildred Molly Einbund, Ethel Goldberg, Janet Lewis, and Art Rosenberg. For the first year of mourning, I invite you to stand and remember those loved ones who have died in the last year. The Artside anniversaries of the Shabbat are, and please stand as your loved one's name is read, Hertz Anikel, Lillian Teal Black, Boris Borkovich, Morris Brecker, Barry Collier, Nathan Harris David, Ira Jablin, Axel Jahan, Ethel Klein, Dr. Leon Kolb, Rose H. Libman, Paul Mander, Ann Merkel, Audrey Misrock, Norman Nadler, Joe Carroll Ruse, Margie Schoenfeld, and Margie Schoenberg, and Arthur Tarloff. If there are others whom you remember for a yard site on this Shabbat, please say their name aloud or share it on the chat so that others will see it. And we join together with Cantor Frommer as we thank God for those lives that have come before ours and that inspire us.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
Amen.
May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world. We say together, Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. We have a lot of announcements, even though none of us can go anywhere. There's so much going on, and I'm going to try and tell you about these things chronologically. So tomorrow morning, please join Rabbi Phelps for Torah study. And then on Wednesday night, please join the entire congregation for the annual meeting. You must be a member to attend. So if you have not renewed your membership or joined, please make sure that you do that so that you can join us for a wonderful, State of the Union and lots of information about what's going on here at Congregation Sherith Israel. Following this coming week, we very much look forward to celebrating Cantor David on May 30th, and we have a whole huge announcement about that. I will turn that over in 1 minute. And also, Rabbi Abby would like to share some information about Shavuot, but I want to just end my remarks here by saying that the 4th session of our From the Front Lines medical conversation about COVID will take place. You'll get another email about this, so you don't have to remember, but save the date on Wednesday, June 3rd from 5 to 6. We have really interesting guests coming, as have been all of our guests. I thought all 3 of these conversations have sparked a lot of conversation for me and the community and a lot of great thinking. On June 3rd, we will hear from Dr. Daniel Kraft and Stephen Schoenfeld, who are both working on the cutting edge technology issues in the US and Israel in medical communities that have now turned to looking at technology and innovation with regard to COVID. So please join us. It promises to be very interesting. But prior to that, Cece Kaufman-Himmelstein, are you here?
I am here.
Amazing.
I am here, everyone. Yes, it all worked. With my lipstick, which only is a joke that Rabbi Graf gets. So my name is Cece Kaufman-Himmelstein. My daughter had a bat mitzvah last year. My son had one 4 years ago. And I was to be making myself crazy this week with the Gold Rush Gala, which if any of you are still thinking of showing up on Saturday, you shouldn't. We're not having it right now. But we are going to be having a wonderful celebration for Cantor Frommer. And the reason I'm jumping in here is twofold. One, everyone should have received their camouflage Havdalah spice bags. And if you haven't, make sure to reach out to Nia and we'll get those to you. And we have a massive book that we're putting together. And I have the first 12 pages. And we have asked if I could share them with you. It's not too late to get a page in. The cutoff's going to be let's say the end of the day on Thursday, but we'll be flexible. And if for some reason you are unable to contribute at this point, we've had a number of generous donations from congregants, and we're able to include you on the well-wisher page. So just please reach out to Nia, and she's handling all that. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and try and find this page here. So let's see if this works out. Did the sharing work? Are we on the page? So this is actually the page on the website. When you click on Cantor Frommer on the top of it and you scroll down, you'll actually be able to see this is going to be the beginning of our farewell tribute book. And I thought I would just run you through a couple of pages. So it has really been emotional to read everyone's wonderful notes and just see their great photographs. And there's a lot more where this came from. And we've got a couple little surprises. We're not going to talk about it. We may have a couple of people Zoom bombing. So hopefully everyone's going to be here. And we're really looking forward to it. So thank you.
And Cece, is it true that you don't have to be an artistic or a technological genius to put together a page? Is that true?
Not at all. In fact, I would prefer it if you just send me a couple of words, send me a couple of photos. You don't have a photo? I've got photos. So just send me what you've got and I'll go ahead and take it from there.
Awesome. So everybody can contribute with a page.
Absolutely.
Or part of a page, right? If you're able to make a donation along with that, it goes to our operating fund. And we are doing this in place of the Gold Rush Gala at this moment. But as Cece said, this is not only a fundraiser, it's much more importantly, also a tribute to Cantor Frommer and a wonderful thank you to him. So I can attest to the fact that Cece is an amazing party planner. The bat mitzvah luncheon was spectacular and everything around that. So the camouflage Havdalah bag is just a teeny hint of what's to come, and Cantor Frommer wore the right outfit tonight to show us why it is that we have the camouflage Havdalah bag.
Can't even see my Havdalah bag. It's on me, but you can't see where it is.
Hold it up in front of you. It blends.
I'm holding it right here, but you can't. Yeah.
Cece, we didn't want you to be bored during the pandemic, so we just created this fabulous event for you to plan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Rabbi Abby, will you tell us a little bit about things that you're up to?
Absolutely. So as Rabbi Graf said, please join me tomorrow morning for Torah study. We'll talk a little bit about numbers and a little bit about names, but also I have the pleasure of being part of a community-wide Tikkun Leil Shavuot on Sunday the 31st. So that's a week from this Sunday. The JCC of the East Bay is having a big celebration for Shavuot. It's traditional for folks to get together and study all night long. I'm not going to ask you to study all night long. Instead, I'm just going to invite you to join me at 6 o'clock when I'm going to do an hour-long session. It's going to be about Akdamut, which is something that may be new to most of you. It is a piyut, a liturgical poem that is really beautiful, that is traditionally said on Shavuot and has all kinds of really cool allusions to Torah and Tanakh. And so we'll look at that and talk about what it means and what it brings us in terms of our appreciation of the holiday. So if you can come, please do. Obviously, it's going to be on Zoom, 6 o'clock on the 31st, and we will advertise it between now and then such that you will be able to get the link.
Awesome. We'll keep you busy. We'll keep you partying during the pandemic. Come join us for all of these things. Gordon, is there anything else that I should have announced? Or any procedure for the annual meeting that you want to share?
The only thing I would say is that people should register for the annual meeting in advance because we need to vet all of the, make sure that you're in good standing. It takes a little bit of time. So if you can do that in advance, because we don't want to have to be away at the door, but walk-ups are unfortunately not exactly welcome.
Mm.
I have a quick announcement too.
Do you have people signing in from one or more?
So we will. So what will happen is when you've signed up in advance, you will get an email Monday morning containing the link and some information about how we're going to run the meeting, because the voting will be a little bit different this year. Obviously, we're here on Zoom. We're not in the room. God, that was an awful rhyme. And of course, I won't be serving you dinner. So whatever food you run out of is strictly on your own account. Peter, you had a quick thing you wanted to add? Oh, you're muted, of course.
For Torah Study tomorrow, please reference the link on the letter from Jessica this morning. There was a password missing from the one under the dome. So sorry if anybody had a problem getting on tonight, but you can always find all of our passwords and links on our website, sherithisrael.org as well.
Thank you. All right, Rabbi, back to you.
Thank you very much. Rabbi Phelps, I think you're announcing our Kiddush leaders tonight.
I am indeed. I am very excited to introduce the Benjamin family, a family that has been very involved with the synagogue in all kinds of ways, including that they currently include 2 teens who are active participants in our teen program and our Madrachim program. And this family is confident in their Jewish knowledge that they have offered to lead Kiddush for us. So I'm going to turn it over to Jenny and Jeremy and Sylvia and Gabe Benjamin to go ahead and show us their Kiddush cups and lead us in the Kiddush.
Oh, I'm sorry. The pressure is enormous. Oh my God.
Now you guys are going to be great.
We actually have two very special Kiddush cups. The first is the one that Jeremy and I received from my grandmother at our wedding. She went to the Magnus Museum. She did not own a Kiddush cup herself, so she went to the Magnus Museum in Berkeley and got this beautiful piece for us. And then, of course, this one is even more special because just over a year ago, Gabriel had his bar mitzvah. So this is the Sherith Israel, and I'm doing this because we didn't fill it with wine. It's Gabriel's, but we got this one for the bar mitzvah, so it's really special. It's a gorgeous one. Thank you.
Okay.
So, ready?
He's not driving. You can give him a little bit of wine. It's okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now suddenly the tune escapes me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'yahava u'ratzon higdilanu Zikaron le'ma'aseh bereshit Kihu yom tehillah v'yikra'e kodesh Zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim Ivanu v'charta V'yotanu kidashta Mikol ha'amim V'shabbat kodshecha V'yahava u'ratzon Imchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim, beautifully done.
Yasher koach.
And now, do we have someone to show some chalot? I don't know if, Rabbi Graf, I don't know if you had a successful challah adventure this week or not.
I did not attempt challah this week, but anybody who did, please hold it up and let's see all these beautiful chalot that might be out there, however you acquired it. It's fine. Let's see, are we getting some challahs? Oh, I see. Roberta Silverstein.
Yep. The Olsons have a beautiful challah.
The Breslauers.
Great. Okay. Oh, I see lots of them out there now. Good job, everybody with challahs. Excellent. Okay.
Beth and Ira. Yeah.
Cantor Frommer, will you lead us in the blessing?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Teavon.
Teavon, and we will conclude our service with
Ein Kelohenus. Here we go. There we go.
a rousing rendition of
That's right.
version. So sing along.
Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, non como nuestro Dios, non como nuestro Señor, non como nuestro Rey, non como nuestro Salvador. Mi Eloheinu, mi Kadonenu, mi Kemalkeinu, mi Kemoshienu, ¿quién como nuestro Dios? ¿Quién como nuestro Señor? ¿Quién como nuestro Rey? ¿Quién como nuestro Salvador? No del Eloheinu, no del Adoneinu, no del Malkeinu, no del Moshienu, lo haremos nuestro Dios, lo haremos nuestro Dios, lo haremos nuestro Rey, lo haremos nuestro Salvador. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adoneinu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, bendicho nuestro Dios, bendicho nuestro Señor, bendicho nuestro Rey, bendicho nuestro Salvador. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adoneinu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, tú sos nuestro Dios, tú sos nuestro Señor, tú sos nuestro Rey, tú sos nuestro Salvador. La 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 la
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.